I can't believe we're here already. It seems like it was just a couple of days ago that I was sitting here at this time last year, but I appreciate you guys being here. And we've been practicing for about 8 days, 9 days. We started a week ago Saturday, and so far so good. I think everybody's pretty healthy, and the weather's been on and off, but as long as we can get outside, it's not a big deal. My temperature threshold is 35, so we haven't hit that yet, thank God. But no, everybody's looking forward to it. It's a brand new team, 12 sophomores and freshmen, and it's just a totally different atmosphere at practices, and it's the opposite of it has been the last couple of years, where we've been upperclassmen heavy, and now we're definitely heavy on the new kids. But it's been a lot of fun. They've been a great group to coach so far. And they're kind of like gym rats. They love the ball field. They hit late. They come early to field, and it's been a really good group to coach. I think she's probably the healthiest she's been in the last couple of years. We're still going to do the same thing where she's going to do 2 out of 3 at practice. She's either going to hit or pitch, field and hit. She won't do all 3, and she knows that. She's fine with that because we want her healthy in May. And we listened to the doctor's orders the last couple of years, and she got through a season, and we're going to do it again. And hopefully, she'll be playing in June again this year. But so far, she's looked really good. She played this practice was hitting field, and she looked good at first base. And I think she would say the same thing, that she feels as best she has in the last couple of years. But her foot is still broke.
Patrick, I don't know that you've ever had a situation where you've got one single senior leader on the team that's actually an everyday player. What do you expect from Charlotte in that regard? Is she one that everybody's been taking?
Well, you're right. I mean, she's the other 2 unfortunately have been hurt their entire. I mean, all 3. I could write a book about how to come back from injury just on Alex Blewett, Jessica Smith, and Charlotte. I mean, they've all been through the ringer. It's amazing. Jessica, this is her 5th year. She's had 3 surgeries. Alex has had 2 surgeries on her hip, and it's just been one thing after another for all 3. But as a senior class, we meet, when they come back in August, and one of the things that they talked about, that their legacy was going to be that they never gave up. They were resilient. They worked hard. And I think all 3 bring something totally different in terms of leadership. Charlotte is definitely the vocal. The other 2 are more by example, and definitely behind-the-scenes leaders, because they do things that I have no idea what they're doing, but they are doing good stuff, helping everybody. Because if the other teammates need to know how to overcome something, they can look at any of those 3, because they've all done it. Well, I love it this year because we have a pitcher in each class, and that's the way we would, if we could draw it up, that's what we do it. We have Charlotte, the lefty senior, Kelsey, junior, Amanda Locke, who has been looking really good this last couple of weeks, a sophomore, and then Lauren Sewell, our freshman from Fort Lauderdale. And Sewell actually throws the hardest of all of them. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It's definitely going to be a pitching staff again. I think you could see 2 20-game winners and a couple with 10 wins. Sewell could be a closer like a Chrissy Owens did when she was here. So I think that's going to be the strength of the team, is the pitchers. Well, the sophomore class is 7 strong, so when we recruited them, we tried to take the number that graduate and then replace it, but we needed 7 to replace the 5, but we did get 2 catchers, so the catchers were kind of worked in slowly last year a little bit. I know you saw Holcomb a lot, but Kendall Dawson and Olivia Gibson did get some opportunities, because when Holcomb was a freshman, she got totally thrown into it, and she had to catch a senior pitcher, and it wasn't pretty the first month and a half. So they've been doing a good job behind the plate. We have Catherine Dozier, and who's a junior, and Kayla Bro, freshman, at second. And there's a really good battle going on there. This is the best Kat's looked in her career at Alabama, both offensively and defensively. At shortstop, there's Whitney Larson, who's a junior, and Jackie Branham, who's a freshman. And then a freshman at third base, Courtney Conley, and she's probably the starter there. She's doing a great job. She's one of those kids that you look at her, you don't think she's a freshman, which is a huge compliment. And then in center field, we have a sophomore, Jennifer Fenton, or Waikima Davis, who's another freshman. So it could be where, we have two juniors in the middle of the infield instead of two freshmen, and a sophomore at catcher. So it's not as desperate as it might look with brand new kids. So, but there'll definitely be a freshman at third. She's at the probably the whole fall. Her and Cassie Riley Bosha were the most consistent hitters. Jazz was a whole new person after the World Series. She came in confident, with a swagger, and hit the ball as good as anybody. And now she's basically playing left or right, and it's up for grabs. And she's probably one of the top candidates at either spot for sure. I'd say she's going to get a lot of playing time this year. Her, Fenton, Riley Bosha, Kima in the outfield. So I don't think we're going to miss anything. We're going to miss Brittany Rogers, obviously, in the center field and speed. But as a team, we should be faster because Kima is very fast. Kayla Bro is very fast. And when you put in Fenton and Lunsford full time, that's some quick kids. That's the other thing. I mean, she was a leadoff for 4 years, and that was the biggest question mark. We had a coaches meeting this morning, and we were talking about that because it was just cemented in there. You knew she was going to be there. So now we just got to see. We have probably 3 or 4 options that we're looking at, and we're going to scrimmage a bunch and see who we think does the best job, and then it is, hopefully we can have the same kid the whole year, but if not, we got options.
What about that Charlotte? We've always had somebody that's experienced.
Well, Locke has been doing really good. Whitney Larson has been looking really good, and Riley Bosha. And, we were talking today, if Locke does what she's been doing in practice, it's going to be hard to, I don't know who they're going to choose to throw to, because one of them is going to have some people on base. And then Cassie behind them is a lefty who did a very good job last year. So we're hoping that between Larson, Locke, and Cassie, it's going to be a pretty good 3, 4, 5, 6, and all of them have some pop.
Has the dynamic around the league changed given the losses from the players who lost? How do you
It's, you basically kind of look at everybody and say, okay, who got a pitcher, who lost a pitcher, and Florida lost their pitcher, Georgia lost their pitcher, LSU got a pitcher, Auburn has their pitcher, and then Tennessee's got a mix. Florida's got a lot of good hitters coming back. Georgia's got a lot of hitters back. It could be like a World Series game when Georgia and Washington played. It was 9-8. They might have to. We might have to outscore people this year instead of 2-1s and 1-0 games across the league, I think. And hopefully, our pitching staff will keep us in games. But it's still going to be a good conference for sure. I think 5 of the top 25 were SEC preseason.
How do you look at your program now as far as, it's always been up until the last couple of years, can they get to the World Series? Is it now, you expect to get to the World Series? Is it a reload coming through? Do you feel like that?
Yeah, I know. That was pretty amazing. It's just, I think that's a credit to the pitchers that we have back and the 13 letter winners for sure, because we lost 5 key starters. 4 were first team All-Americans at one point in their career, so it's a big loss. But I think the kids coming in, I think there's kind of a good expectation on their part that, this is what we do here. We do good in school and we go to the World Series. And I think, especially with Charlotte on the team, she's going to lead them in the right direction and, do things the right way. And she's going to show all the younger kids the way it's supposed to be done. And so far, she's been doing that.
Do you think people outside the program, outside the league, even look at you a little different because of beating Arizona and Arizona State at the World Series instead of the Falls?
Yeah. It was, last year was just a big breakthrough for us at the World Series, to eliminate the last two national champions on the same day, and both of them from Arizona and the Pac-10. So it was a huge feat for us, and I think everybody, around the country. It was fun during the summer recruiting, and there was a lot of congratulations and stuff like that. But I think it's a good sign of respect to where they put us, and we still got to do it on the field. We got a really good schedule this year, probably the toughest we've ever had. 25 games in the top 25 right now, preseason, and there's going to be different people that are going to be ranked, but that's a lot to start with. 25 games out of 56. Not yet, believe it or not. She's the freshman from Oregon. She had a 103-game hitting streak in high school, so we're going to try to keep that on the down low, Tommy, if that's possible. I won't because that ruins it, right? No, she's fine with it. We just got notified that she's a finalist for the Oregon Athlete of the Year last year, and which is a big deal in that state because they have a thing at Nike, and I think her parents are going to go in her place because it's right during her practice, but it's kind of neat for her. She's offensively, she's gifted. She's a lefty, and her grandfather coached her in high school, and her dad coached her in summer ball, and basically she did a lot of slapping, short game, bunting, and just beat everything out. And now she probably did 50-50 swing and slap this fall, and she comes back in the first couple of practices, she's hitting bombs up in the right field hill, and I go up to her and I said, you better call your grandpa and dad and say, what the heck, why didn't you let me hit more? And she said, but I didn't do this in high school. So she's going to be one of those true triple threats that is going to be able to bounce it on the ground, drag bunt, and hit it over their heads. And that's a rarity. You just don't get very many of those. And I think Fenton can do it, Lunsford can do it, and this kid can do it. She let off for her high school and summer ball, but she could also hit 2 or 3. She could put her anywhere really. And then defensively, she's played shortstop her whole career, but we moved her basically to second base.
You kind of like starting off with a team like Missouri?
No, not really. That was just, when he called me, it was early. Neither one of us knew we were both going to be in the World Series. And then they had a great year and, knocked off UCLA at UCLA, which never happens. I think it was the first time in a super regional. And he's starting to really do good things there. And they came here for a super regional in 2007. So he's got a lot of good kids back. He's probably got the best center fielder now in the country. That's very similar to Brittany. Very fast. And it's going to be a really good test. He's got a really good sophomore pitcher that's back, so that's a scary opener really. And to get him 3 times, it'll be good for the RPI, but it's going to be a challenge.